just 4 qualification spots left to be decided in the Challenge Cup. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Not as many qualification spots up for grabs in the final round of pool games for the Challenge Cup, but there's still plenty of issues to be decided. So, as usual, we're going to go down through each of the games, talk about how the teams have done so far, and make a prediction as well, and talk a little bit about how the result may affect the pool. So, we're going to start with the first game on Friday, 8 o'clock kickoff at Rodney Parade. Dragons RFC versus Newcastle Red Bulls. And, Newcastle Red Bulls have definitely been the surprise team of these pool stages. They, just one win. They no wins in the Prem when this competition kicked off. But since they've picked up one win, but they've gotten 3 wins in this competition. So, and they're sitting in second place, 13 points, just behind Benetton, who topped the pool. And then Dragons at the moment in 5th place on 4 points. And, they have the possibility to catch, either or both Perpignan at the lines, depending on how other results go. But, for them, they know they've got to win to have any chance of qualification, whereas Newcastle Red Bulls already qualified. And the fact that this is an away game, there may actually be a better chance there for Dragons than maybe we're thinking, because if Newcastle decide maybe to rest a couple of players for this, there might be an opening for Dragons. But we look at how they've gone so far. So Dragons first up lost to Perpignan by 24. Then they beat the Lyon by 2. And after that, lost to Benetton by 53. 2 URC teams playing each other. But that's, that's one of the difference between this and the Champions Cup, is that there isn't an even number of teams from each of the competitions. So you get things like this where, French teams might play each other, or URC teams might play each other. Then the Bulls, they beat Lyon by 9 points. Then the Lions by 4 points. And then Perpignan by 7 points. So coming into this final game, as said, 3 wins out of 3. Great run of momentum for them. But for some reason, I got a sneaky feeling for the Dragons. I'm wearing the jersey as well. So, I want to back them. So I'm going to go for a Dragons win and kind of go against maybe, where the smart money is going, I think, in this one. So, yeah, I'm going to go for a Dragons win there. On to the next game then. And it is a 1 o'clock kickoff at the Amphidea Stadium, basically Ravenhill. Ulster Rugby versus Stade Francais. And looking at this pool beforehand, you would have thought that this would have been, a showdown between these two for basically who tops the pool. And, it hasn't quite worked out that way. It is, in a way, still a showdown. Like the winner of this game will top the pool. But I guess the difference is I was expecting both teams to probably come in to this final game, both on 3 wins out of 3. And looking not just to top the pool, but to go through as, one of the very top seeds in the knockout stages. So it's not quite that, but it still is a shootout because nobody else, because these two are 1 and 2 in the pool, Stade Francais on 15 points, Ulster on 12 points, nobody else is going to be able to overtake whoever wins this game. So the winner, it is kind of winner takes all in terms of the pool. But yeah, Ulster maybe not doing as well as they would have hoped for through the pool stages. So Ulster start off with a win against Racing by 54 points. Then that loss against Cardiff. Cardiff doing really well to come back over the top of them in that game. And then awarded that win over the Cheetahs last week because the match was abandoned. And, 2 frozen pitches in Amsterdam, and because Cheetahs are the home team, obviously Ulster get awarded the win. And we've seen, we talked about it already, but we've seen stuff like that before during COVID, etc. And Ulster had issues themselves previously as well with frozen pitches. Stade Francais then beat Cardiff by 21, then beat the Cheetahs by 23, and beat Exeter Chiefs by 2 points. So they're on 3 wins out of 3, going for a 4th win to top the pool, and probably go through as one of the top seeds into those knockout stages. But Ulster at home is going to make it difficult for them, and Stade, there's 3 points between the teams, so potentially could get a losing bonus point, and Ulster only don't get a bonus point, and that might be enough to keep them on top. But points difference is in favour of Ulster at the minute. So you would imagine if they are gonna win the pool, they're gonna have to win. And Ulster know, there's no kind of ambiguity for Ulster. Is basically to have any chance of winning this pool, they've got to win this game. And I think Ulster at home, they've been in fantastic form this season. That attack really is firing. For me, in terms of the Irish provinces, in terms of attack, not overall play, but in terms of attack, they've been the most impressive of the Irish teams so far this season through the URC and European games. And because of that, I'm going to back Ulster to win this one, and I think that they'll get themselves a bonus point as well and win the pool. Okay, so that's that game. Then we move on to the next one, and that is a 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday at the Avchala Stadium in Georgia. It's Black Line versus Zebre Parma, and this one's going to be an interesting one because you got Black Line up until last week where they got their first win, haven't been great so far through the competition. Zebre, they've got 2 wins now under the belt, and they're pretty much at this stage looking at going through, they're almost qualified for the knockout stages. They're on 9 points at the minute, Black Line on 5. So basically for these teams, this is a bit of a shootout for qualification. Black Line know they have to win. If they lose this game, they're out, because they're not going to, they're 3 points behind Connacht. So losing bonus point and try bonus point won't be enough to move them up to 4th place. And then Zebre, they know a win guarantees them qualification, because Black Line are the only team really that could eliminate them from the top 4. And then after that, then it becomes a case of looking up the pool towards Opsreys and seeing if you can overtake them, because Montpellier, for Zebre at least, are uncatchable at the top of the pool. So, given all of that, I would have said, if Black Line maybe had have been better earlier on the pool, I would have given them, I think, a bigger chance to win this game than I'm kind of thinking now. But if we look at the results so far, so Black Line lost to Montpellier by 11, which wasn't a bad result, because Montpellier are on top of the pool with maximum points, with 3 wins, should I say, not maximum points. But I think they do. I think they have 15. And in Connacht, they lost by 52. And then they bounced back against Montauban with that 3-point win in France, which was very impressive, because neither of those teams have been doing well at all. And for Montauban, it would have been a chance for them to maybe get a bit of confidence into their team and get a win, but it was Black Line that were able to do it in the end. Zebre then They beat Montauban by 24, lost to Montpellier by 24, and then they beat Opsreys by 4 points. And given, the fact that Zebre did win last week, got that confidence back a little bit. I think they're going to go back to back again. They had back to back wins in the URC at the start of the season. I think they're going to do the same again here and get a win. So I'm going to go for a Zebre win and for them to confirm the qualification for the knockout stages with that. Okay, on to the next game then, and it is a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday at the Stade Amy Giral, and it's Perpignan versus Lions, and this one is in Pool 3. And if we look at the pool at the moment, hang on a sec. Tell me it's in Pool 3. Or sorry, Pool 2. That's my poor eyesight. So Pool 2, at the moment, these teams 3rd and 4th in the table. And, they've got the potential of, if the Dragons can beat Red Bull, of the Dragons coming over top of the loser. So there is a bit of jeopardy in that. But by the time that this game kicks off, that jeopardy may be removed because, if Dragons lose that game, then, there is the possibility of Lyon maybe as an outside chance, but it's less likely. At that stage, then, you're looking at if you lose, get yourself a bonus point or two, and you should be fine for the knockout stages. But yeah, neither of these teams are going to be wanting to, look at other results. The chances there, win the game and you qualify, and it's that simple, really. I think both teams will be going for that. Perpignan, the home team, and I think that gives them a bit of advantage, especially against the Lions, because the Lions have basically had this Jekyll and Hyde thing of very good performances in South Africa and very poor performance outside South Africa so far this season. So I'm going to be cheering, for the Lions, but I'm going to go for a Perpignan win in that one. Okay. Next one then is an 8 o'clock kickoff at the Dexcon Stadium over in Galway. It's Connacht Rugby versus US Montauban. And, looking at this, you've basically got like Montauban, who are bottom of Pool 1, Connacht in 4th place, and Connacht know that they need to get a win here to guarantee qualification, at least as it stands. Again, if Blackline lose to Zebre, then they'll already be qualified by the time they kick off. But if that happens, Connacht will still be looking to get a win and get a higher seeding for the playoffs. And if we look at how these teams have gone, like Connacht normally do very well in the pool stages. They haven't done as well, honestly, this year. But they start with a loss to Ospreys by 3 points. Then they beat Blackline by 52. And then they lost to Montpellier by 2 points. So 2 close defeats and a resounding win. Montauban then lost to Zebre by 24, lost to Ospreys by 11, and lost to Blackline by 3. I think it's going to be 4 from 4 for them, 4 defeats from 4 games, and Connacht are going to win that game. And whether they were already qualified or not, they're going to put themselves in position to potentially finish higher up the pool. Right, so on to the next one then, and that is the last game in Pool 1. It's happening at the same time, 8 o'clock, and it's on Dunraven Brewery Field. It's Ospreys versus Montpellier, and this is another shootout at the top of the pool, first versus second. Montpellier 4-point gap to Ospreys, so even in defeat, there is a path to winning the pool for them. Ospreys have to win with a bonus point and deny Montpellier anything from the game to finish top of the pool, but they certainly will be motivated to do that. So Ospreys, they started with that win against Connacht by 3 points. Then they beat Montauban by 11. And then last week then, that defeat to Zebre by 4 points. Montpellier, they have beaten Blackline by 11, Zebre by 24, and then that narrow 2-point win over Connacht last week. And the fact that that game was such a tight margin, I think gives Ospreys, more of a chance in terms of just belief for this game. And I think I'm going to predict an Ospreys win, but I don't think it's going to be enough to overhaul Montpellier, and Montpellier will go through as the pool winners for me. Okay, on to the next one then. We're on to Pool 3, and this is on the Sunday game, or the first of the Sunday games. 1 o'clock kickoff at Sandy Park. Exeter Chiefs versus Cardiff Rugby. And, just on reputation, you would have thought, that Exeter would be above Cardiff, but it's the other way around. Cardiff in third, Exeter in fourth. Cardiff with 10 match points, Exeter with 9 match points. So almost certainly the winner of this game will finish. Well, yeah, the winner of this game will finish above the other, because even if you win, the other team gets 2 losing bonus points. That's still enough for Exeter to be ahead of Cardiff. And obviously if Cardiff win, they're going to be ahead anyway. And then for these teams, other than kind of jockeying for position between each other, they're both already qualified. There's no, the first 4 in this pool have already qualified. So, the other game in the pool is kind of a dead rubber. And for these two, it's about, can you overhaul Ulster in second place, given that they're playing Stade Francais? We might be coming in this game. Stade have won that game, and now the winner knows that the reward is actually finishing second in the pool. That certainly would be a decent prize for them. Or if Ulster have won that game, then Cardiff at least potentially could overhaul Stade Francais with a big win, like a big bonus point win from the game. But for Exeter, unless Ulster lose, or should I say, if Ulster win, for Exeter, then the only real option for them in terms of moving up is to move above Cardiff. They can't finish any higher than third then. So they basically need that Ulster loss to be able to finish the highest they can finish the second. So if we look at the performances so far, Exeter started off well. They beat Cheetahs by 30 points. Then they got a draw against Racing 92. And then they lost to Stade Francais by 2 points. Cardiff, first up, lost to Stade by 21. Then they beat Ulster by 3. Fantastic result there. And then they beat Racing by 19. Another brilliant performance and a result from them as well. So coming to this game, certainly be full of confidence. But you feel that, Cardiff on the road, going to Exeter, it's going to be a bit tough for them. And you worry kind of if they fall behind, at Sandy Park, can they kind of rally themselves and come back over the top? And I don't think they will. So it's going to be one of these where I'm going to be cheering for Cardiff, but I'm going to be predicting an Exeter win. Okay, on to the next one then, and it is Lyon Olympique Universitaire versus Benetton Rugby. This is a 1 o'clock kickoff at the MacLeod Stadium de Girard, and this is contrasting fortunes for these two teams, really. Lyon lost all 3 games. Benetton have won all 3 games. And, in Pool 2, Benetton up there vying with Newcastle for top spot. Now, if Dragons did them a favour and beat Newcastle, they may already know that they've qualified, or that they've already qualified anyway, but they may know that they've already won the pool. Lyon, by contrast, have a very outside chance to qualify, but that could be gone by the time this game comes around, because the maximum points they can get to is 7. You have Perpignan on 6, Lions on 6, and Dragons on 4. So potentially the team in 4th place could already, have moved up to, let's say it was the Dragons with a win, they'd be on 8 points, and then there'd be no chance for Lyon to get up to there. So, for them, it could be just, a game where there's nothing in it for them, if they win. And that certainly could suit, Benetton. Lyon are the home team. I've talked about it before. They've had actually a fantastic record in this competition in recent seasons, but not this season. Whereas Benetton, have been going great guns all the way through the pool stages, and because of that, I'm going to go for a Benetton win. Now, on to the final game then of the pool stages. It's a 5:30 kickoff on Sunday at the Paris La Défense Arena, and it's Racing 92 versus the Cheetahs, and this one is a complete dead rubber. These two in Pool 3, both eliminated. Racing on 3 points, Exeter are in 4th place on 9, and then the Cheetahs bottom of the pool with 0 points. And you wonder what's going to happen in this one, because I think the Cheetahs now, they didn't get to play last week against Ulster, so they've had an extra week of preparation, and that kind of frustration that they're an invitational team. They only get 4 games in the pool, and they've missed out on one of those. So we might see a bit of performance from them. I'd love to see them go to Racing and get a win. I think that would be brilliant. But Racing at home, even though they haven't performed all that well, they've just got the 1 draw. It could be an interesting one, I think. But if we look at the results, so Racing started off with defeat to Ulster by 54. Then they got that draw against Exeter, and then they lost against Cardiff by 19. And then the Cheetahs lost to Cardiff by 30, lost to Stade Francais by 23, and then were penalised for having to abandon or cancel a game against Ulster last week with a 28-0 defeat. So neither of these teams have won so far. You would expect one team will win in this, and that it won't be another draw for Racing, that we will have a winner. And I think, I absolutely want the Cheetahs to win, but think about it, Racing at home, I think Racing are going to go out with a victory here. They might even if they play a kind of a youngish team and rest players, I think they'll still have enough at home to get a win. So we're going to go for a Racing win in that one. Okay, so that is our look ahead to the final round of pool games. Because all these games are on at the same time as the Champions Cup, I probably won't be covering any of the games, especially because I'm also working this weekend. But we will have a wrap up probably on Monday of the of the teams that have actually qualified the final pool standings, etc.